With an ever-evolving society, there are everyday issues in the marketplace, in government, in our social lives, even in our homes. Issues and society brings these happenings to you. Join us on this station. For sponsorship and advert placement, please call 081-100-00712, or better still, follow us on our social media handles.
And so in Lauda's special TV report on the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, with us we have a man who is wearing a double cap for this session. He is the National Secretary for IPMAN and also the Chief Executive Officer for OILSEIRK Petroleuum Limited, in the person of Alhaji UMAR JADA. It's a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to start from IPMAN as the National Secretary of this very viral association. Can you tell us a bit about what your office entails as the National Secretary?
Yeah. As the National Secretary in IPMAN, you have the responsibility of running the day-to-day activities of the Secretariat in terms of liaising with the depot chairman. We have 21 depots. We liaise with the depot chairman through the 4 or 5 zonal chairmen, because each zone has its depots that is under those zones. We have the Northwest, Northeast, Midwest, Southeast, and Southwest. So we will liaise with the depot chairman through the zonal secretaries to be knowing exactly what is going on in terms of sales, welfare of members, making sure that loadings are ongoing without any hitches, the relationship with sister organizations, relationship with agencies that regulate the sales of petroleum products, because in most cases those agencies, we deal more with them because they are the ones who are the regulators.
Now, give us a sense of your strategic position as an association, in the oil and gas sector. Give us a sense of how strategic, your organization is.
Yeah, IPMAN is the heartbeat of the industry, because in IPMAN we controls over 80% of the retail outlets. Whatever we say, maybe you have 2 billion, 10 billion liters on waters. Maybe you have another 10 billion in tank farms. You have 10 billion even on trucking, which we are fully part of. It's still not enough until you have fuel in the filling stations where the common man or maybe the end user takes it. So just to tell you that IPMAN, without IPMAN, I don't see what you can do in the industry. You can't do virtually nothing. Whatever you have, IPMAN is the main driver who does the main work, or maybe the original work, while you are doing your own part of the work.
Now, to you as the Chief Executive Officer of OILSEIRK Petroleum Limited, can you give us a brief background about your company?
Yeah, OILSEIRK Petroleum is a downstream petroleum company which was registered about 2 decades ago, more than 2 decades ago. And, OILSEIRK was registered out of experience, so to say. My family is part of the retailing systems since maybe late 60s to 70s or so. So I was born and brought up in the system. So I was a director in one of the mother companies, which was more or less older than myself. So at a point I was put as a director. So at a point I have to also register maybe my own personal company, whereas the parent company is still functioning, is still there. But OILSEIK is a company that was registered, I think, 2002 or 2002. That was after when I graduated. So being someone who's already in the system, so I also registered mine, which we are all working with, and OILSEIK is doing well. With filling stations cut across the country, Adamawa, Taraba, some in Abuja here, and some in Oyo State.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So how have you fared so far?
Alhamdulillah, so far so good. Generally, Nigeria is a good place to do business, even though not easy. It's a good place to do business, but it's not as easy as you see from outside. And generally, because of the turbulence in the industry, because most of the things are not that stable. If maybe you have a budget or maybe a calculation of working on so parameters now, the next minute it may change. So you just have to be up to the task, or whenever you have to be equal to the task, so to say. You have to be always alert. I can recall there was a time, I think around, can't recall that exact date, whenever we wake up in the morning, we have to check the whole stream. Like now, if I have some trucks, we mostly load from Port Harcourt, Lagos, sometimes in Warri. So immediately we wakes up, we have to check those trucks that have loaded, maybe those that are bound for Abuja, those bound for Yola, maybe let's say Lagos, Yola. We have to check the whole route to be sure, okay, fine, because this minute you hear that there's the whole route is okay, but the next minute you hear there's a crisis there, so your truck easily jumps into it. So things like that. So it's a normal generally, but sincerely here it's not easy at all. But alhamdulillah, we've been up to the task and we are moving.
Now, in the sea of independent petroleum marketers, we have so many of them, what makes OILSEIK unique? What's different about your stand?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, generally OILSEIK, I won't say OILSEIK is doing well, but I won't pamper myself to say, yeah, OILSEIK is unique. But inshallah, whenever I go to OILSEIK Petroleum filling stations, we make sure we do the needfuls, as in what has been agreed in terms of IPMAN, or as a member, as an independent marketer with government. First of all, selling the government-approved pump pricing, selling at the well-regulated, or as in the well-measured pump dispensing, and at least customer-friendly from what I normally, out of a routine visit. Sometimes I just go, like now, next time I am supposed to be in Yola, hopefully maybe in a day or two. So immediately from the airport, I have my personal measuring equipments in one of my offices. So I tell maybe my driver to come with them. So I go straight to the station. So it doesn't know that from the airport, they take me to the stations without unnoticed. I go and check to be sure, okay, fine. And if I go sometimes in tinted glasses, I park beside within the vicinity of the station to see how they operate with customers and see how they do with some things. And in some cases, I have auditors within the system who I send independently without them knowing too. So far, generally in life, you can't say you have done all, but we do our best to make sure things are done the right way.
Can you share with us the vision and the mission for your organization or your company when setting up, and how much of them have you been able to achieve over time?
Alhamdulillah, so far as I said, we are cruising okay, because most of our visions, alhamdulillah, are always been realized, because generally, you can't take it all, but we intend to grow steadily, and not slow, but at least steadily, So, and we are growing, and even though there are some things that sometimes hampers the growth, as I said earlier, the terrain, the business environment sometimes not that friendly, because like now, I can recall when I registered my market, that was 2003, we buy products at the rate of around 40 something naira per liter. roughly, let's say 45 naira per liter, and then a dollar was about, I think, should be around 70 to 80 naira. So we buy products at maybe roughly around, I think it should be around 1.2 million or so per truck, and we have a margin of about 9 naira. So that 9 naira translates to about roughly 360,000 naira per truck. That 360,000 naira per truck then was about roughly maybe $5,000 to $6,000 if you translate it. Today we still buy those products at about 100 and average 170 naira per liter. That's about four times what we normally buy. And the margin, that's the official margin, is still not around, let's say we buy it at Lagos at 170, you sell it at Abuja at 195. The margin is just maybe 30 naira. 30 naira times 400,000 times 40,000 liters will give you 1.2 million. That 1.2 million is less than $1,600. So just to tell you how we are also trying within our own side to just see remain in business.
Now, as somebody who is a major investor in the oil and gas sector, one of the discourse in front of OILSEIRK is total removal of subsidy. What do you think this will portend for the industry and indeed for the end users?
Well, that is a very, very complex question, so to say. That's the best thing that can happen to any society. If at all this subsidy is removed, even myself as a marketer, maybe like now, as I told you earlier on, I was enjoying about 20 to 25% margin when I was buying this product at 1.2 million. If you translate even the forex maybe down there, I can enjoy up to 30% margin. But today I'm enjoying possibly maybe less than 10% margin. So if the industry is deregulated, at least I'll put a commensurate margin to what I'm supposed to. So to me, to myself, it's something good. But as you said, you talk of the end user, that's the common man on the street. And moreover, if I thought that common man knows too, the best thing that will happen to him is for the subsidy to be removed, to channel those funds to something better in terms of education, because education is the bedrock of every society. Health, some other things that he needs to enjoy, especially infrastructure and the rest. But another thing, the common man does not see all those things, so that's why the best he creates, the best he gets only the subsidy. So that's why I call it complex. So left to me, it's a good idea, but I think we need to do more, in order to achieve it without serious problems. Because, we always try as much as we can to see that there are no problems, because we are the first point of call in terms of everything. We always pray for peace, inshallah, alhamdulillah, we are peaceful in Nigeria. But in case of anything, we are the first point of call. Like now, I have a filling station in my village. I have a filling station in Yola. So, in short, I am the closest person to those people. In short, even as you said, or maybe as everyone knows, even though, there are always bad eggs within the system.
Now, there is this general insinuation that IPMAN members are usually the cause of this long queues you find, across the country. It's, setting a very high dispensing price at your different stations. As a player, as an investor in this industry, what is your take on that, and how can some of these, because we know that we hear, that some of your members don't get to buy this pump price like, every other person. So they sell to make their margin based on how much they get these products from. So as a player in the industry, how is it with, OILSEIRK?
As I said earlier, that was why even before you asked, I know we'll be going towards that direction, because most of the interviews I had, we trade in those directions. as they said, some numbers, I told you that generally you can't say yes, you cannot vouch for everyone. I can recall the last time I was on an interview with NTA, they said some of our stations sells in jerry cans. I said, yeah, and as at then I was part of the task force committee to follow those team to be checking such things. As I said, I think within a span of a week that we were monitoring and checking the whole stations. I think we found only one station selling in a jerry can. And when I got there, I gave him that waiver. Why I gave him that waiver? I saw a woman with a baby that is less than a year. And everybody knows within that week, the whole of Abuja, there was no light. But she wants it for her generator. I said, give her, please tell me, it means maybe give me that I is the one who gave it out. So when she says, I say, okay, fine. Please, we are also employing on the general public. Please, we are in a digital world. Please, whenever you see such things, here is a hotline, so maybe you can get so many people anywhere. You can get to ensure, you can even put it on social media free of charge. That you found this filling station, snap the maybe just video the name of the filling station and the what is happening there. Just put it on social media. I'm sure even if the taxes are not there, he will feel ashamed of himself to do that. So that is it for maybe saying that maybe you put long queues and for long queues, that is a natural law. Natural law in the sense that you cannot pump in products only within Abuja metropolis and leave Nasarawa, Sulejamina, leave Gwagalada, leave Karusait here without fuel. So they all come into the town to look for that fuel. And that's why sometimes I see it as maybe a way slightly forward, even though not within the ambits of the law, to sell slightly above pump price, because some people prefer to take 250 liters without queue, without hassles, than coming to join a queue to take 195 naira per liter, spending the whole day on the line, wasting your time for no sake. Instead of buying maybe 5 liters at 195, that's about 1,800 and 975 naira. It's better you buy 4 liters at 250 naira within a minute and just go on your way. So that's why sometimes those are going to be the advantages of the regulation.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question. It's been a border in the minds of so many end users. Question is, what is wrong in selling products even in jerry cans for purposes of generator? Because of course you and I know the power problem we're having, or power challenge we're having in the country. Now, if I must put fuel in my generator, how do I get that product from the station to my generator without having a jerry can? Because if you guys say don't sell in jerry can, how do I power my gen?
That's what I said. I said generally we have bad eggs in everything in terms of the system, within the regulation system, the marketing system, the consumption system, so to say. Out of the consumption line, or so to say, you have those petroleum jerrycan peddlers beside the street, on the streets. So those are the ones that are causing trouble to genuine, jerrycan consumers, because it's not only a generator. If you have, because of the scarcity, you are trying to manage yourself and the fuel finished on the way, you also need to go and take it in the jerrycan to come and put it in your car to bring it to the station, even if they are not going to move. Because there's no way a station can go up to your car in the street, so that's it. So we have the main, consumers in jerrycans, and we have those bad eggs, which, as a businessman, from the business perspective, if at all the products are there, why should you even start selling in Jerrycan? If at all there are products at 250 naira in a station, despite the fact that maybe it is 190 naira, 195 naira as the government regulated price, and somebody has 250 naira where you can go and take product, knowing that, okay, I'm coming to Chief Nigeria Limited filling station, so address to come and take product. Why should I go and carry take a product that is not assured from an entity? From there, immediately he drops it in your car, he leaves that place. Maybe the next time you see him, you see the next time will be. So all these kind of things. The bottom line is that sometimes we have this scarcity due to some generally conditions beyond everyone's control. As I said, because we are, dependent on import, we depend more on import. So whenever you have a small vacuum or you have any small issue, so it translates to so many things.
Now, your company, OILSEIRK, has been, around for quite a while. How honest and how genuine is OILSEIRK, Petroleum in discharging its responsibility to, its customers, pump price, dispensing, liters, especially the pump price? Have you for once, at your own company, been caught with this inflation of pump price? And I know you said you go there and do your own investigation sometimes, but you can never always be there.
Generally in things like that, there's what we call the relative, how do I put it? There was a time I know we bought that product more than pump price. I forgot, I think it was during the first regime, as in the first regime when we thought of starting to, because we are now on the process of deregulation. Process of deregulation in the sense that I think we met around April last year where we started deregulation, the process. Because it was 165, we sat down within the stakeholders, had a stakeholders meeting and see a way of how we can ease the tension. Because it is 165, but it's not realistic to sell at 165. So we all agreed, okay, fine, maybe let's make it flexible. I think we made Abuja to be 175, Abuja and Lagos, which is first catchment area. Then we made Kano, maybe this Kano, some part of Southeast and some places to be 185. And then the far dispensing points like Yola, as in Adamawa, Borno, the far sides of Sokoto to be 195. So it was around that time. So then there was a time when the products was highly scarce. So I bought at about, because the official rate then was supposed to be 141 or 148, I forgot, because the prices change, so now we can't say. But then I know we can fix a price for 2-3 years or so. But now within a span of 12 months now, we must have changed the price with about 4, 5, or 6 times. So I know I bought the product far above that pricing. So it was one of the fuel stations in, I think it was under Taraba State in Jalingo. So I have to sell above the government approved pump pricing. So when the DPR came, they closed the station. So that's where I want to come in, because generally, even if I tell I've never been caught. So sometimes it's not real, but at least I've been caught, but I have a reason why it happens.
Now, Alhaji UMAR JADA, can you tell us a bit about who Alhaji UMAR JADA is?
Generally, I just say from what I know, but normally if you want, that's it. If you want to appraise someone, you get somebody around him to appraise them, because Alhaji UMAR JADA is the best person who can, best this, best that. Alhamdulillah, I try our best because we are taught to be humble. He came out from Umar came out from a large family, because I am the 5th child of 41 in the house. We have 41 from my dad, yes. And alhamdulillah, in my house, generally, we have over 30 master's degree holders. We have 2 professors in the house. We have 3 associate professors. Being a businessman, I'm amongst those master's degree holders.
Well, I want to say a very big thank you for having me that time, please.
Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Well, the program continues right after this short commercial break. My name remains Prosper, and this is Issues and Society.
Welcome back, and this is how we come to the end of today's episode. You can watch our previous episode on our social media platform. Let's do this again next week. I am Zainab Obitin. Thanks for watching.